Hello, I'm Keeson Cunningham, and I chose to research the Quaker faith. Um, the history of Quakers in North America. Quakers began arriving in North America in the mid 1600s, initially from Barbados, and usually congregated in Philadelphia. However, by the mid 1700s, Quakers, or the Religious Society of Friends, as they were also called, had spread into each of the original 13 colonies. Founded by George Fox in 1651, the George Fox University in Newberg, Oregon, is named after him, and one of their notable alumni include Herbert Hoover, or President Herbert Hoover, although when he attended it, it was known as Friends Pacific Academy. Some of the beliefs and doctrines that are held by the Quakers. Quakers emphasize a belief in the inner light and the guiding illumination provided by the Holy Spirit. They don't have clergy or observe sacraments. They don't celebrate Christmas, Easter, or other traditional Christmas holiday or Christian holidays. They reject taking oaths, military service, as well as war. And their tactics and methods have kind of evolved over time. As Carla Pastrana points out, initially they were almost militant in their attempts at converting Puritans to the Quaker faith, and 4 Quakers between 1659 and 1661 were executed for disrupting the Puritans in Boston, the most famous being Mary Dyer, pictured here on the right. Where did the name Quaker come from? One of the stories of the naming of Quakers goes that the founder, George Fox, had once told a magistrate to tremble or quake at the name of God, and that the name Quakers has just kind of stuck. Other people have suggested that the name might be derived from the physical shaking that sometimes comes with the Quaker religious experience, and the name Friends comes from Jesus' remark in John chapter 15, verse 14, that you are my friends if you do what I command you. The pacifist doctrine of the Quakers, probably the thing that set them apart the most from other Protestant denominations. And while Quakers were willing to participate in economic protests, civil disobedience, they generally drew the line at taking up arms as part of their doctrine and practice. So the signing of the Declaration of Independence led to a pretty severe split in the Quaker congregation. Over 1,000 Quakers were disowned by the faith for their either participation or support of the American Revolution. They did tend to the wounded, both British and American, after the Battle of Guilford Courthouse. And Lydia Darrow, a Quaker spy, warned General Washington about an ambush at White Marsh in December of 1777. One of the more interesting quotes I found in my research was in the Quaker Declaration of 1661. He said, "A killing instrument we may neither form nor bear," and kind of set forth the Quaker doctrine of pacifism. So because they were pacifists, they were distrusted often by both sides, both the Loyalists and the Patriots during the American Revolution, and at least 1,276 Quakers were disowned by the Quaker faith for their, again, either participation or support of the war. General Nathaniel Greene, who's been called Washington's most trusted general, and there's a book by that same title, was raised a Quaker, disowned in 1773 for his pursuits of martial affairs, but he did remain a devout Quaker until his death in 1786. Captain Samuel Nichols, was the first commandant of the Marine Corps. He was born into a Quaker family in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and grew up a Quaker. However, the documentation of his how devout or not devout he was to the Quaker faith is a little lacking. And Thomas Paine, the least devout of the three men, at least born Quakers, his father was a Quaker, although that seems to be kind of the last connection he has to the Quaker faith. And here's my bibliography. I pulled from 4 sources, and thank you.